Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, wasn't it great to hear Donald J. Trump back out there at North Carolina this weekend? I think it was clear from his speech that he is going to continue to have momentum on all of his policies. I mean, all of his policies and all of his ideas and everything he did looks better than ever today. And it's great that he has that credibility that he can say, hey, this is what I promised. This is what I did. You know, this election got away from me. This is, here we go again. China. Who came up? I think Trump's watching the show. Remember what I said about China? One easy way to do it is say we're not going to pay back your debt. And he's asking for 10 trillion reparations to the whole world. I say unite together and do it. 100% tariffs. But isn't that great? Trump watches the show. It's obvious. Say, hey, sorry, China, we're not going to pay you back any of your money. Because, see, that's money we have. You watch. Biden will give them money. It's like the Iranian deal. He won't use the one thing that Trump did that Biden just doesn't do and Obama didn't do is use the power of the United States as great leverage in negotiations. Obama didn't. Biden doesn't. Trump did. Speaker of the House, Trump was having a little fun with the possibility, what if he runs for a congressional seat, and if the Republicans took over, he'd be Speaker of the House. I personally don't think that suits Trump's personality. Trump's an executive, although Speaker of the House has some executive possibilities to it. But tell me Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi and company would croak. Last but not least on the speech, you know, you just can never get away from the ridicule from the left and this idea of his pants, that he put on his pants on backwards, what kind of pants he had on because there wasn't a zipper. Who are the people zooming into the guy's zipper? I mean, I said this way back when in 2016. Because he's a billionaire and all that, it's hard to have sympathy for such a person. They've mistreated Trump so bad. I've always had sympathy for the guy. He's been mistreated and maligned worse than any politician in our history. And I know my presidential history. No one has been mistreated worse than Donald J. Trump, unfairly. Rahm Emanuel comes out and says, they just never get it. This is just part of their little maneuvering, political gamesmanship, claiming that Trump's an albatross along the Republican Party, around the Republican Party. He isn't. He's not an albatross. He's a war eagle. Incredible. He's a grizzly bear. He's a lion. Albatross, my ass. Adam Schiff, meanwhile, says the Republican Party is the party of anti-democracy. Remember the list, the American lawless list that I went through with the American Communist 10 on Sunday? Let that sink in, that son of a bitch, Adam Schiff, has the nerve and the just complete disregard for truth that he can say that. The Democratic Party is the anti-democratic. They're the lawless party. Fauci says the attacks on him are anti-science, all nonsense, fabricated, and inappropriate. You could take every one of those words and double down on them when it comes to Dr. Fauci. He is anti-science, he is all nonsense, he is fabricated, and he's totally inappropriate. But who comes to his aid? Chris Weasel Wallace. Has anybody ever looked like a weasel more than, sorry, I have the same habit of Donald Trump, I like nicknaming my enemies. Chris Weasel Wallace. He comes to his aid. This is political. Tony Blair. You know, Tony Blair was good buddies with George Bush. Would you expect anything less from a guy named Tony Blair, who I used to like, who comes out and say, vaccinated people ought to have more freedoms than unvaccinated people? Why don't you extrapolate that logic out to a society and see what happens? Jimmy Kimmel, the jackwagon himself. You know, Jimmy Kimmel from the Man Show days, the big phony Jimmy Kimmel. Can't stand him. You know what? He's a little sarcastic smartass that's not even funny. He called Florida the North Korea of the United States. Huh. Well, first off, not only is that a great insult, but it's not even comically correct to where you could even claim that, because Florida is diametrically opposite of North Korea. Freedom. No freedom. Remember, all good humor has an element of truth to it, so it falls flat. Cruz. Senator Cruz is claiming that Facebook was doing their censorship at the direction of the government. Remember I said that it's past time for these tech companies not to be treated as government? You know, the First Amendment right needs to apply. Well, if they're doing the government's business, how in hell can't they be? Shouldn't they be? Weddings. Ladies and gentlemen, American Jerry and Bulldog Nation, I went to 2 weddings over the weekend. One, Friday night, one of my oldest, dearest friends' sons in Kentucky. The wedding was in Kentucky, reception was in Kentucky. And my wife's oldest, dearest friend, her son, wedding in Ohio, Catholic church, both Catholic churches, Catholic church and a wedding reception. Nobody wore a mask. Nobody socially distanced. It was beautiful. I was chuckling the whole time like I was waiting that somebody had masks or whatever. No, there was dancing and celebrating. And then you turn on the TV and you see these politicians still doing their bullshit, and you gotta say, really? Really? Everybody else is like, we're done. We're done. Energy Secretary, I got these next 2 subject matters are interesting. Energy Secretary says our enemies can take out the power grid whenever they want. Isn't that comforting? And it's also a yielding. Remember Susan Rice, who's running our country right now. Susan Rice says it's okay to have North Korea as a nuclear country. We can live with that. Well, the Energy Secretary's they can do this. They can take down our grid. I ought to scare the hell out of you. We built a new house. We have a generator that kicks on automatically when the electric goes out. And the reason why I had this isn't just for those short interruptions, because I believe the electric grid's going to get hit. And then what the hell happens to this country? Commerce Secretary says cyber hacking is going to increase. Another concession. You see how the Obama people roll? The Trump people say, we got to stop this. We got to punish it. We have to do something about it. We got to protect ourselves. Nah. The Biden people, yeah, they're going to hack. They're going to hack. Then that make you very comfortable. How does the stock market not react to that kind of news? Maybe it will. Biden's graduation speech. Biden does a Zoom graduation speech, and he doesn't mention congratulations. He simply talks about systematic racism. Incredible. G7 got together and they agreed to a 15% global tax that they're going to join in. Now I'm conflicted on this. Numero uno, I hate big tech and I like them to be taxed like hell. They deserve it. On the other hand, I don't like taxes of anybody, anywhere. But I think maybe this could be good. I don't know. I'm sorting through it because it goes against the grain with me to like any tax. Kamala's plane. Hear about Kamala's plane? She's flying down to Guatemala, and there's 30 minutes of takeoff. Her plane has some kind of technical issue. She turns around, gets on another plane. Apparently it's because she was spooked. By the way, just so you know, Guatemala is the country in Central America right under Mexico where they're pouring in. She's going to fly down there and give them some money, like that's going to do anything. That money will end up in the crook's hands. Senator Angus King, who's kind of an oddball, independent from Maine, and Senator Manchin from West Virginia have both said they will not report the Voters Act. That means it's dead. Yes, 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 yes. Go Angus. Yellen, your Treasury Secretary says higher interest rates could be a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jerry and Bulldog Nation, tweaking with a higher interest rate to curb inflation is a good move a little bit. Generally, higher interest rates suck. They kill business. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, Joe Biden's Treasury Secretary is down with higher interest rates and obviously higher inflation. Jemele Hill, I can't stand this black racist woman from ESPN. She lost her job at least. But she says Manchin, her comment on Manchin is, he's just a power-hungry white dude because he doesn't oppose the breaking up the filibuster of the Voters' Rights Act. Jemele Hill is as racist as they get. Speaking of racism, how cool is it there's an interracial couple that's speaking out against critical race theory? I love when I see an interracial couple do things like this. Why? Because who has more credibility to speak out on race issues than an interracial couple? Especially when they speak out like this against something that's stupid and wrong. Minneapolis just keep every day. There was an armed guy. He had a terrible record. You know, he justifiably was shot and killed by the cops, and they riot. Anything to burn down the city. It just makes you sick. Makes you sick. It's the excuse. And guess who? It's the political gangsterism. By the way, Mark Levin, one of my teammates, Mark Levin says, you know what? When a government becomes a criminal enterprise, you have this thing. Criminal enterprise is another word for political gangsterism. I'm going to let Mark know he can use my word, political gangsterism, because we're on the same team. Bill Maher himself, I love when Bill Maher points out how stupid his teammates are. Bill Maher pointed out that he ain't paying for free college. What a bunch of BS he calls it. Even Bill Maher recognizes how stupid free college is. George Bush, George H.W. Bush's other son, Neil, who's always been a swanky guy in the shadows. He's like been the businessman. Apparently there was a foundation they set up for the Bushes that was funded by the communist Chinese to a tune of like $5 million. See? See how all connected? The American Communist 10. A Yale doctor says she would love to go shoot and kill a bunch of white people. She called it the psychopathic problem of the white mind. This is a Yale doctor. She would have the thrill, she said, of killing white people. And remember, July, I have declared White Male Heterosexual Month. Spread the word. Make sure all the gay rights organizations and all of the major liberal news networks know that July is White Male Heterosexual Month. Let their heads explode. Now, reason why we're doing this is because as our rights continue to get eroded and we get discriminated against, we're fighting back. Hollywood and Bloomberg. Hollywood Studios, Mike Bloomberg, two members of the American Communist 10, are getting together to work on guns. Are you kidding me? The same people that make movie after movie about guns and violence. 86%, this is shameful, all you workers. 86% of workers don't want to return to the office to work. Now you got to ask yourself this question. Why would that be? Because they want to be lazy and get away with it. They're hanging out with kids, family, watching Netflix while they work at home, being unproductive and still getting paid. The wussification of America continues. Mayor Wiley is the AOC endorsed candidate, New York City mayor. You know what she's calling for? She's calling for all kinds of millions, not for policemen, but for social, care. Unbelievable. Men, I didn't know this. Do you know men are the only ones that have to register for the draft? Women don't have to register for the draft, just men. There's apparently maybe going to be a Supreme Court case to take up this issue. How come women don't have to register for the draft? Good for the goose, good for the gander, right? Last but not least, good old D-Day. This weekend, unbelievable day in history, June 6th was D-Day. An incredible day in our American history. Joe Biden doesn't make a single comment about D-Day. Kamala Harris, not a single comment about D-Day. Trudeau, Canada, remember, we hit those beaches with British, Canadian, and American forces. Nothing. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, this is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I hope you have a great day.